Ladies and gentlemen, I have to admit, I'm a little disappointed in the first year of the Switch 2. And I know it's subjective, right? You know, what I like might not be what you like, and what you like, I might not care about. But I just feel like the Switch 2 has so much potential that's being wasted. But allegedly, here in a few weeks, everything that I've been worried about for the Switch 2 is going to start to turn around. And maybe that next big 3D Mario game is getting revealed, because that's what some leaks today are saying. So let's break down what's going on with the Switch 2, how it can be fixed, and then what big announcements might be right around the corner. A new Nintendo Direct? General Direct? Yeah, that seems to be the case. Let's go and get right into this video. So right away, I don't want this video to come off as I don't like the Switch 2, or I wish it didn't exist, or I enjoy other stuff more currently, because that's not true. I play my Switch 2 every day, as much as I possibly can, and I am finding enjoyment out of it, but 95% of what I've enjoyed on it has been from the Switch, or games that are already available on other consoles that just happen to show up on the Switch 2. What's going on with the first party stuff, right? Like, why did I buy this console? That's what I keep asking myself more and more. Like, I know why I bought it, but if somebody were to ask me why they should buy a Switch 2, it's getting harder and harder to explain the reason. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would really mean the world to me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing, and let's just go ahead and get right into this one. So going back to, I guess January of last year, that's when the Switch 2 was first revealed, right? And it felt like they didn't want to reveal it just yet, but there were so many leaks. They said, look, here's what the Switch 2 looks like, and here's a glimpse of the next Mario Kart game. And you're thinking, wow, this is everything we expected. A new Mario Kart game? That's amazing. That's probably going to be the game that launches with the Switch 2. And that is a game that launched with the Switch 2. While it would have been nice to get a 3D Mario or a new Zelda or something, what makes the most sense? Well, the game that sold the most, and that is Mario. Now, I do think Mario Kart World is objectively good, but I have not played it in 6 months, and I keep reminding myself to go and play it again, but there's just nothing to make me play it. And the reason why I'm laughing is I did play Mario Kart today, but not Mario Kart World. I was playing Mario Kart on the DS, and I was like, dang, Mario Kart's fun. I should play this more. Mario Kart World didn't even pop into my mind. So then it was like a month or two before the Switch 2 actually was released. We got that hour-long presentation, and we're thinking, let's go. This is going to map out the first 6 months. We're going to see so many big Switch 2 games, first-party stuff. It's going to be amazing. We've seen Donkey Kong Bonanza. We've seen more of Mario Kart World. We've seen Hyrule Warriors, which was, you know, it is what it is. Metroid Prime 4, but we already knew about that. We also seen Wheelchair Basketball, which is, that's a choice there. But I thought, you know, Nintendo was just kind of being coy a little bit, playing around. The console will come out, we'll get that big General Direct, then the ball will really start rolling. But the ball never really started rolling, and you just keep waiting. When is a new first-party game going to come out? And I don't want to say first-party games aren't coming out, but I mean like system sellers. A game that makes you say, hey, I have to buy a Switch 2 for this. Because we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, we got Mario Kart World. These games are great. They can push you in the direction to buy a Switch 2. But aside from Mario Kart World, I think the biggest game that was on the Switch 2 so far was a Switch game, which is Pokemon Legends EA. So then I was thinking, well, maybe I'm expecting too much out of the Switch 2. Maybe if I go back and look at the first year of the Switch, it wouldn't be as good as I remembered. You know, nostalgia goggles make everything seem better. It was a little bit more exciting because it was a brand new console entirely. So let me go back and look at 2017. This is just going off memory. We launched with Breath of the Wild, and I know that is technically a Wii U game, but it's really a Switch game. We also got ARMS in 2017. We also got Splatoon 2 in 2017. We got Super Mario Odyssey in 2017. We got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in 2017. We got Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle in 2017. We got Pokken Tournament DX in 2017. We got Fire Emblem Warriors in 2017. And I know I'm missing some other things, but this is truly insane for a first year. Oh yeah, how could I forget? We also got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is insane for the first year of a console. This makes you want to go out and buy a brand new console. So while it's hard to understand what Nintendo is doing, let me just try to argue from their approach, or what seems like is their approach. One of the biggest caveats or problems with the Switch was it was underpowered, right? And we did get those big ports like The Witcher 3 and Doom and Wolfenstein and Nier Automata. Just a couple other games that you're like, whoa, this can run on the Switch? That's pretty cool. But for every game we got, there was truly like 10 that were just not possible. So Nintendo probably said, look, we've got it in the bag with first party. People understand Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, all that good stuff. Let's reassure them that the Switch 2 is different, that it's more powerful, and let's show them what the Switch 2 can do. So right out of the gate, we got Cyberpunk 2077. That's incredible. We got Star Wars Outlaws. We got Assassin's Creed Shadows. A bunch of other stuff I know I'm forgetting because there's been so many games. And that's something I want to clarify. I'm not saying the Switch 2 does not have games, but it doesn't have first-party Nintendo games. And I'm talking about new stuff, not stuff that was on the Switch that got Switch 2 editions or Switch 2 upgrades. Those are not part of this argument at all because they're truly irrelevant, right? Like, sure, they look a little bit better, but they're Switch games. Third party, we have got so much stuff. And then we just recently got a partner showcase. And while I don't think the partner showcase was really that strong at all, like I give it a 4 out of 10, there was a couple of things in there that are pretty cool. I can't wait to play Digimon. Pragmata looks interesting. We have Resident Evil this month. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's incredible. But all of these games can be played on another console. And sometimes I like to remind myself that some people only have one console. And I'm very fortunate that I have a Switch 2 and a PS5. So for people like me, you think, well, I don't like game key cards. Sometimes it's even cheaper. It's going to be the better version. I'll just play it on my PS5. Not everybody has that luxury. So a lot of these third-party ports and stuff that was announced in the partner showcase for people who only have a Nintendo Switch 2, which is a $500 or a $450 console, but a lot of people got the bundle. So for people who spent $500, then to see all these games are coming over to the Switch 2, that's very exciting that they have a place and an opportunity to play these games. But if we flip over the coin, what about the Nintendo games? Where is the quote-unquote system sellers? I don't think Metroid Prime 4 was a system seller. Donkey Kong Bonanza is one of the greatest games Nintendo has ever released. I don't think it's a system seller. I do think it's a must-play game. It might even be in the top 5 Nintendo games of all time. It's one of my favorite games I've ever enjoyed. I don't think it really moves the needle for people to buy a Switch 2. It's like, yeah, new Donkey Kong. Whenever I get a Switch 2, that's going to be great. Mario Kart World, yeah, on the surface at first you think, well, that is technically, a system seller kinda, and it was a pack and bundle, and people are going to get to enjoy it. And I think the game is better in a lot of areas and weaker in others. It doesn't really feel like a system seller. So what we need is a system seller. And there's truly 2, or I guess 3 games that normally form like the big 3. It is 3D Mario, Zelda, like 3D Zelda, and Pokemon. So how could we fix the problem with the Switch 2? Well, any of those 3 games, we need an announcement soon. We know we have Pokemon Day coming up February 27th. This is great because while Pokemon Presents is normally a huge letdown, there's like half of an announcement that seems cool. Generation 10 is heavily rumored to be revealed. So that is awesome because Generation 10 is also rumored to be a Switch 2 exclusive. We've been seeing a lot of leaks, a lot of stuff for this. This is in fact a system seller, but this will probably come out near the end of the year. This will be a November release, a big holiday title. So it really doesn't do anything right now. Then we have The Legend of Zelda. This is a little promising because it's Zelda's 40th anniversary, and I know we're probably not going to get that next big 3D Zelda game, but some 2D Zelda games being remade, like Link's Awakening, that would be cool. Or that rumored Ocarina of Time remake, that has about as much power as a new 3D Zelda game has, right? It's one of the few things that can really move the needle. If this is a Switch 2 exclusive, that's going to be great. This is in fact a system seller. And what's interesting about Zelda, with it being its 40th anniversary, we could get a game truly at any time. But what we're all waiting for is the next 3D Mario game. Mario Odyssey came out in 2017. And while there's been no shortage of Mario games, we need the 3D Mario game, right? This is the ultimate system seller. This is what people will go out and buy a Switch 2 for. So when does that happen? Recently, Shintaro Furukawa said, right now we don't have any news pertaining to Zelda's 40th anniversary, which makes me think he's just dancing around saying like right now there's no news, but something is coming soon. But knowing the way Nintendo works, they're not just going to announce a 15-minute Zelda Direct, right? Like they could, and this generation has been a little wonky and weird, so they could. But if we go off what they did with Mario's anniversary, it will be 15 minutes of Zelda news at the beginning of a general direct. So when is that general direct coming? Well, we have been seeing more and more reports, rumors, leaks saying the third week of February or the first week of March. So today I have an update for you guys that came from the recent Attack the Backlog podcast with Nash Weedle, and they said the third week of February there's going to be a new Nintendo Direct. So they're like reconfirming this, saying several sources confirmed to him that it would take place the third week of February. And they're also clarifying that the next big 3D Mario game would indeed be featured at this Direct. And these are the same sources that tipped them off about Donkey Kong's appearance at the first Switch 2 Direct back in April of 2025. This isn't beating around the bush or being cryptic. When you have a little bit of a reputation to lose and you're saying stuff like this, like you could be vague and say, this is going to happen, or I heard this is going to happen. And then when a Direct happens, you can be like, well, that was the game I was talking about. That's not what's happening here. They're giving you an exact timeline and telling you that the next 3D Mario game will be featured in that Direct. If this is the case, this will fix all the issues that I have with the Switch 2 right now, right? Aside from the game key cards and like the not great battery, what we really need to fix all these issues is big first-party Nintendo games. And while the Partner Showcase had some exciting announcements, it kind of felt like they were getting some stuff out of the way so that we could have a huge general direct with all the announcements we're all waiting for. So if we go off everything that we've talked about in this video, I really think a lot of the Switch 2 problems are finally going to be fixed, a lot of our questions are finally going to be answered, and that next 3D Mario game is just weeks away from reveal. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most. So in the comments below, I would truly love to hear from you guys. As much as I love the Switch 2, there's a lot of big missed opportunities here, and Nintendo really needs to do something very soon, because if we go back and compare it to the first year of the Switch, in my opinion, it's just not cutting it. So let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, if you could do me a favor, hit a like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep these communities growing. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.